This podcast was produced by OAR Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.
To all diverse rangatahi, do you often feel like your experiences go unheard, as if people put you in a box?
We are Unboxed Identities on ORFM Houston. Together, we unpack the identities we are boxed in.
Magandang hapon!
Assalamualaikum! You have Malak and
Betty! And for today,
Ladies and gentlemen,
someone in the studio today. It's not just me and Malak.
There is.
Who? Ooh. Okay, our guest today is a youth advocate and a public speaker who questions systems and tries to find ways to fix them. He's also someone that me and Malak did a podcast with last February, which is coming out soon, I have heard. So, yes, he had very interesting perspectives on the youth online experience.
Ooh, and his name is, drumroll please,
Shiva.
Shiva. Do you want to say your name, Shiva?
Hello, everyone. My name is Shiva.
Yay!
Very excited to be on the podcast.
Hooray. So welcome, Shiva. How are you?
I'm actually doing very well. I'm very hyped for this podcast recording.
Yay!
Yeah, Shiva is a very loyal supporter of our podcast. He always shares the content on Instagram, Unbox Identities.
And I always like his stories because of
That is so true. Unbox Identities, all lowercase on Instagram. Guys, follow.
Shout out.
Shout out. So, I want to start with a quick fire segment for us. So, just highlight, lowlight of our week. Ooh. All right. So let's start off with our beautiful guest, Shiva.
What's your highlight?
What's your highlight, lowlight? Anything you're excited for the next week?
My highlight was, this was last week, but I spoke at my school's assembly about the Dunedin Youth Council, which I'm a part of. And lowlight was probably that, like, my food intake last week was kind of like average. Like, it wasn't the best, but that's okay because you can't have all the best foods that you want all the time. So I'm grateful that I had food in the first place.
Anything you're excited for the next week or so?
Next week I am traveling to Auckland for a secret meeting.
Ooh.
I don't know what I can say, but yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Period.
Malakiti is also traveling up to Auckland next week.
Yeah, so exciting. Is this my sign to do my highlight, lowlight?
Yes, your highlight, lowlight, and what you're excited about.
So kidding guys, it's Malakiti back in the studio. My highlight for this week has been, I don't know, I've been to Gucci, I've been seeing friends. I have been quite tired though, I would say that. So it's okay guys, you don't have to have a highlight. Sometimes your week is just a low light. But it's okay, it's good to see the good and everything. Anyways, point is, highlight, low light. Yeah, I've been tired, excited for going to Auckland this week, speaking on a panel for Youthline New Zealand, which is really exciting. And I love how it's going to be the same highlight, low light than the last episode.
Yeah,
but it's okay. And yeah, Race Unity speech competition coming up, which is very exciting.
What can you say to your future self?
Wait, actually, yeah, if you, whatever the result is, whatever happens, I'm so proud of you. You were authentic the whole way through. And that is the biggest accomplishment. And I think anyone can take that advice as well.
Yeah. So I guess my highlight for the week is just like hanging out with friends, honestly. I haven't been able to hang out with them for a while because of #duties. So I feel like it's just good to, actually have time to spend with my friends and with my mom as well. Yeah. And I feel like that's a very important thing that people should, consider in life because I feel like friends and family are like something that it grounds you a lot.
100%.
Community grounds you a lot.
100%. I've been having withdrawals from, like, I have to stop using that word. I don't actually know what I mean. I've been reflecting on the significance of community lately. So yeah, I agree with you.
That's good. And I guess my low light, again, just busy. Yeah. I think we're all busy right now.
Yeah.
With term two of school.
Don't mention it.
Okay. So, Shiva, can you please introduce yourselves further to our lovely listeners? Explain like your age, your region or location, and the kaupapa that you're in, all your mahi and all of that.
Kia ora, guys. Again, my name is Shiva. I am a 15-year-old student in Ōtepoti, Dunedin. I live on the Tairi, and I am a community-focused person, so I like getting in there and helping out my communities. So that would be my Indian community, but also the rangatahi community of Dunedin through my work with the Dunedin Youth Council, which I'm currently chairing, and the Netse.
Malaka's doing on that.
Yes.
Just had to plug that in. Sorry.
And recently with NetSafe, the Youth Action Squad. So very excited for that.
Lovely. Amazing. So what is your favourite thing in your kaupapa and mahi that you're involved in, and something exciting that's coming up that you kind of have? Is there anything you're allowed to share? Top secret, top dog?
Top
Very secret. But my favourite thing is definitely meeting all these really interesting, cool people. A few weeks ago, I was in Wellington with Malak for National Youth Organisations Hui, and I just met so many cool people who are in similar spaces to I am, and I learned a lot. So definitely the people. And then something interesting that is coming up would be a podcast that we have plugged just before that Malak, Kiti, and all of us were in. That will be coming out, I think, next month or this month sometime.
It is this month.
This month,
but I don't know. By the time this releases, it releases in May, guys.
Yeah, so it's sometime.
May or June, I think. I don't know.
June.
That's coming soon, and it's just got a lot of kōrero about like being online.
Lovely. So, thank you for introducing yourself, Shiv Dog. Sorry, okay. Thank you for introducing yourself, Shiva.
Shiv Dog.
I feel like some people just have that, like something dog. Like, it just suits. I
Top
don't know.
dog?
Like, top dog. Like, Biddy Dog wouldn't work as well as Shiv Dog. I don't know. Hot take? Okay, I'll wrap it up. Thank you. Okay, so I guess now we have some questions about, interviewing you a little bit about your, mahi or why, you as a person, and then we're going to go into everyone's favorite part, the identity wheel. So, starting off with a quick question that we also asked our other guests. So, Shiva, would you like to tell us a little bit about your background, about how you've grown up, just anything that you'd like to share on that?
Yeah, so my family is like ethnically Indian. I was born and raised in Christchurch, moved down
I didn't know
to
that.
Dunedin a few years back. And I think one thing about my upbringing that is that kind of defines who I am is that I've kept kind of both cultures, like Indian culture and obviously like Kiwi culture in my life quite present. So like it's about finding a balance between those. And I would say, like, luckily through my parents and those people around me in the early stages of my life, they helped me to find that balance and find my own identity being between two cultures, as a lot of people will relate to, especially if you have parents who are from another country, but you were born and raised in New Zealand, whatever country,
Yeah, that's so true. And so what type of this is a question I want to ask, what type of perspectives or experiences specifically have you had kind of around growing up that kind of shaped you as a person?
I think the biggest one is kind of like that feeling of being stuck in the middle, like I was saying before. So at one hand, I'm like, yeah, I'm a New Zealander, like I was born here, I'm a citizen, whatever. But then on the other hand, it's like, yeah, I'm also Indian. But when I go there, it's like, I kind of see how much I'm not Indian.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's this weird kind of middle ground where it's like you're accepted, but then you're not. And then it's like
you're trying to belong in between.
Yeah. So honestly, I think that's its own place to be. And like whether that's good or bad, how that affects you, you just need to own it, really.
100%. And do you think that kind of has shaped, how has that kind of shaped your perspective on the mahi that you do, and why, kind of, not really why, because that's the next question.
That is the next question.
But yeah, how does that create, how do you think that creates a unique perspective for you?
I think it really creates a need to be seen and to be heard. So for me, it's like unique in a sense, like a lot of people understand and relate to what I'm saying, but it's also like you are in between these two places, so you want your like kind of split perspectives to be heard and to be recognized. And so actually a lot of my motivation for being part of these cool kaupapas is actually to be that person who can kind of advocate for people like me.
And so I guess you have, thank you for that. That's very beautiful. I guess you have kind of touched on your why and why you do all that, but would you like to elaborate further on what is your why? What is your reason for being, and like kind of why are you on this podcast, you know?
So my why, like I would say it starts with my parents. So my parents who kind of gave up a lot to come here and give me a better future. So that kind of encouraged me to maybe do that little 10%, 20% more, which would be like involving myself in all these cool places where I can help not just be part of the community, but help lead it and shape the future. So that's definitely part of my why. And it's also just like little me who, you know, there's like racist remarks now and then or something that made me feel like excluded. So just to try and advocate for that to change in the future, it's definitely a really big why for me.
100%. And kind of, I guess, elaborating a bit more on that, why do you think it's so important now more than ever to kind of amplify those voices of young people from diverse backgrounds?
I think because now, like, we have a lot of information coming at us 24/7, like social media, I guess newspaper if you read that, or like your friends.
If you read that.
Or like online news
Online
and stuff.
news,
As if we weren't in the Star the other day.
Oh yeah, check that out, guys.
Yeah.
And it's like your friends tell you something and then it's like, oh, is this true? And then you look around you and there's nobody who's actually lived through those experiences or are part of that community. So if nobody else is there and you are part of those communities, are you just going to stand there, sit there and just be like, okay, yeah, even if this is like not true, if it's a bit misleading, I'm just going to let it happen? Or are you going to step up, maybe go out of your comfort zone to try and, you know, change the narrative or whatever it is that is affecting you?
Yeah. Have you like, because in my personal experience, I have been affected by some like stereotypes. Like some people say, oh, you're not good to be an accountant. I think you're good to be a nurse or a teacher because Filipinos are stereotyped to be Filipinos and teachers. Oh yeah, for you, Shiva, have you ever experienced something like that? Of like you being stereotyped like right in front of your face and it's just like, what do I do?
Okay, so like, not to sound like a nerd, but I am pretty academically inclined. Like,
I love saying
and
that
I'll
word.
own it. Like, I'm proud of it because I do the hard work to get good grades. But then
Do the mahi and you get the treat.
yes, exactly. But then it's also like people are like, oh yeah, he's just smart because he's Indian or whatever. It's like
He's Asian. He's got
Asian.
it.
He's Asian, of course. He's smart, but it's not because like maybe that had a little bit of effect because of cultural differences. It's because I actually did the hard work, and in the lessons, like I know I can have fun, but I actually I do try to get good grades because for me right now I'm in school and that's kind of my number one priority, like to achieve well, because not for my parents or for the school, it's for my own sake because I enjoy doing well in school and receiving the academic validation.
Yeah. Has that perception of you being like, oh, because you're Asian, you're so academically inclined, you're meant to do good. Has that ever added additional pressure to you to actually perform well and not, drop from your current performance?
Yes and no. So the pressure definitely exists, but I think it's more of me as a person. But then when I look outside, I see my friends or whoever my classmates, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy is smart and he's Indian. And then it's kind of this thing of, oh, well, I'm actually kind of representing my community in a positive way, even if it is a stereotype. It's still a good thing. So then it's kind of okay, this is more than me. So it doesn't affect me so much because I think that's just who I am. But it's still kind of there in the back of my mind. They don't see me as just a person. They see me as an Indian smart kid in school. Yeah.
That's so true. I've actually never related to that. So, I've never heard someone else say that. This is exactly what I mean. Everyone's like, oh yeah, that hijabi over there. And I was like, I know that I'm hijabi. I am fully aware of it. I make that choice every single day. But I forget that that's how people kind of perceive me automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your one defining feature.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just like, wow, I do so much. And I'm just like, that's not the defining factor of me, but then, so I completely relate to you on that, Shiva.
Just getting reduced to one thing, even though you are such a diverse and interesting person.
100%.
That is.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that.
Oh my God.
So I think now that leads perfectly onto the favorite part of this episode and every other episode, the identity wheel. Oh, that was beautiful.
That was in sync. Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Yeah, you're beautiful. You're beautiful, Shiva. Anyways, as per, I'll explain how this happens. So right now we're going to play the segment audio, and then we're going to be at the same time spinning the wheel, and that will stop on something such as culture, friendship, celebrations, growing up, religion, racism, identity, other stuff like that. And each category has a question underneath that, which will be the question for this identity wheel segment. Betty, play the music.
And we are back. So, drum roll please. The category for our identity wheel question is culture.
Whoa,
so
exciting.
This is fun. Culture, usually questions about culture are my favorite. So yeah, Malakiti, would you do the honors of reading our question out for today?
Of course. So this is actually a really interesting question. Biddy B really cooked with these. So the question is on culture. How do you balance the traditions you grew up with and the culture you're surrounded by now?
Okay, so this is not going to be helpful at all, but for me, that came really naturally. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's always been there. So, like, my parents would be like, okay, we're going to go and do this, like, cultural thing. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Because for me, I don't feel that thing of, like, maybe some people are embarrassed. Like, of course, you're allowed to be embarrassed. But for me, I am pretty proud of my culture, and I'm ready to defend it. I'm ready to practice it even. So, when it comes to balancing, it's been very natural. Like, obviously, the other side is like the Kiwi culture, and that's been pretty easy too because I've just been surrounded by it my whole life, like from first day of kindergarten to right now. And it's just, for me, what I do is I look at what's the best of both worlds. I find the middle point that I'm comfortable with. It could be more to the Indian side or more to like the Kiwi side, and I just stick to it because I know that what defines me is my own personal like view of what I want my culture to be, not what some other people or even what my parents or my family want me to be.
Yeah, because there's just some families that like they impose that culture onto their kids, whether or not it's like good or harmful for them. So like I know there's been some people who have like grown resentment to their culture or to their religion because of how it has been brought down onto them.
Which sucks, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like culture is such a beautiful thing, and it's so sacred, obviously. And these traditions are such a kind of, it gets to the point where it's like a privilege to know it.
Yeah.
And a privilege to be able to kind of express it freely. And honestly, what you said, Shiva, about you growing up and it being natural for you, I don't personally relate to that, but I know, Betty, you do, because not necessarily natural to you, but you've already spoken on how, you know, growing up in the Philippines, your culture's always been there.
Yeah, it's been always there. It's always been present. And when I moved here, it kind of just like the traditions that I know, because most of them are kind of just happening in the Philippines more than it does happen here. It's just kind of in the back of my mind, which is really sad because I do want to celebrate my culture and my like traditions, but I can't because I don't have the resources for them. And I don't have the like big community that surrounds me to do it, because a lot of the traditions in Filipino, and I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but it is very communal.
Yeah.
It's very communal, community grounded. So obviously there's not a lot of Filipinos here. So I can only like celebrate it on my own or just with my mom.
I like how you've mentioned that it's quite communal, because I think that is a common factor with all of our cultures, and I'd like to propose this question. How do you guys feel like that community shapes you in terms of your identity and your way of living life every day?
For me, so there's been a lot of talk about like third spaces and things like that. So like, you know, first space is your house or your home, and second place is like school or work or whatever you do. And then third space is kind of like the space where you can just relax. So it could be like a hobby group. It could be the mall or something like that. And for me, my cultural like communities have been my third space. It's like, okay, there's this event like there. So it's actually given me a social life basically, or like third spaces where I can be this other side of me without any sort of judgment or like confusion. Obviously confusion is good, but it's just like this calming place where it's like I have this sense of, I guess, pride, because there's so many people around me who are expressing their culture and they're not scared to hide it. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I love that.
Do you have any like favorite events that you've been to?
Yeah.
Ever since you got here in Dunedin or in Christchurch?
So in Christchurch, there's two. So first is Holi, which is the festival of colours, where you basically just throw coloured powder at like a bunch of people.
That's
and in
fun.
Christchurch, it's just a public event in the park, so it's not like it's like everyone, and it gets pretty crazy, but it's really fun because it's just like everyone comes together on this random like Saturday. It's like, you know, you're going to get really coloured and dirty, and then you just like throw colours at people, and it's really a really good like way to bond the community, because it's like, yeah, we're all just getting really coloured and stuff. And then the next one would be probably Diwali, which is pretty basic, but yeah, it's just so crazy. Like, people go crazy for it. In Christchurch, it was huge, like took over the whole park for the day.
Oh, whoa.
Celebrations to like 11. And it was just like everyone. It wasn't, the thing I liked about that is that it wasn't limited to Indian people or people who celebrated those festivals. It was a way for communities to come together and celebrate good over evil and light over darkness and things like that. In Dunedin, it's slowly growing, and I'm really interested to see how that goes in the future, because I am part of the Dunedin Indian Association, and we do like Holi, Diwali, Yoga Day, all these different things that celebrate our culture, not just for Indian people, but for everyone to come and enjoy.
I love that so much. I love that talk about the communal aspect of it, because it's not just Palestinian culture, it's not just Filipino culture, it's not just Indian culture. Yeah, sure, that is like the root of it, but it's for everyone. Yeah, and I love that so much. Like, it gives me a sense of like happiness a little bit when people are like wearing a keffiyeh or wearing a Palestinian thobe, like traditional embroidery. So I completely agree. I love that. I love the sharing of it. And I think that comes from our kind of, at least, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I assume so. But the kind of, how do I say this? The principles in our cultures of sharing and hospitality. I know that that's kind of a common theme with Filipino culture, but
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I'd be really keen. Is like hospitality a big thing for you guys?
Yeah, so I'll just give a quick example. So I was in India in the holidays, last holidays, and basically we knew this guy who lives in Auckland. We were in India at the time, and he was also in India, and he took us to his like ancestral house, or like the house he grew up in, and his family was there. And it wasn't anything big, like, you know, it wasn't anything crazy, but there was like, they welcomed us in, they fed us. I was not feeling well, so I literally slept on their kid's bed, and they didn't care, because they were so kind. And like, I just remember like, I was like, oh, I feel really sick, like, what am I going to do? And then they were like actually concerned, and these are people I just met. Like, I am from New Zealand. I came over, and like, it was just this like really kind thing to let me go in the room, sleep on their bed, and I just felt like really heartwarmed for that.
Because I just like want to bring up, because like in the Philippines, like big families, whenever we would have like cousins over, and if we had like a very small house, then we would usually like all the kids who have their own bedrooms, they get out of those bedrooms and they give those bedrooms to the guests, and then the people who actually sleep there in those bedrooms, they just lie on the floor.
No, exactly. And it's like when you go to grandma's house and you all have like a cousin sleepover. And you're just
yes,
all
and we're all in the living room
Yeah.
too. We're all tightly packed, like tuna in a can.
Exactly. So cute. Well, guys, unfortunately that does slightly bring us to the end, around the end of our episode. I would love to hear just like final reflections from you, Shiva. Anything you want to add? Anything you want to shout out? Any applications due? Anyone you're very grateful at the moment for? Just anything at all that you want to share before we wrap this up?
Yeah.
So quickly to say, like, it's so interesting to see how our cultures are so similar yet so different at the same time.
Yes.
And I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone living in Mosgiel or like the Tairi, because like, you know, nothing goes on around there. But like, you know, it's really cool. And yeah, love Dunedin.
Period.
Love that. And thank you so much for being on this episode with us.
Thank
we
you
really
for having me.
appreciate
So
it. Yeah. Really appreciate you, all the mahi that you do, and being with us here today. So, yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course.
Of course.
I guess that is it for today's episode of
Unbox Identities.
Assalamu alaikum.
Paalam.
That's today's episode of Unboxed Identities.
You can find more episodes on oar.org.nz, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Remember, you don't have to fit into the box to belong.
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.